I am the host of Difficult People Chronicles. I'm seriously focused Johnny SF Johnny, and today's episode is called Move Differently. Thank you all for tuning in. Today's episode is called Move Differently because some of you all need to move differently if you want to defeat the enemy. Years ago, I used to hang out with my grandmother, and we used to watch boxing on Fridays and Saturdays. That was like our set time together. And it was kind of hilarious because she had, like, I guess, an international channel or whatever. So, boxing, she would watch boxing in different languages. Half the languages she couldn't speak, but she didn't care as long as it was the boxing. The reason why I stayed up extra late, because boxing would go on up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I would stay up late waiting for the TV show Soul Food. So, but I learned a lot watching boxing. What I learned is that, and this is not just in boxing, it's in a lot of sports, that in order for you to win, you have to move differently. I don't care what the sport is. It could be boxing, um, tennis, football, volleyball. You have to move differently, meaning that you have a person will have an opponent, and a lot of times the opposing team will study their players. They know how they move. And if they move the same way all the time, they will lose. In certain sports, they have the coach or assistant coach in the back room, and they would draft up different plays because they always got to move differently in order to win. Well, it's the same with spiritual warfare. The enemy has their watchmen, they have stalkers, they have monitoring spirits, and they will watch everything you do. And they have studied you for years to a point where you feel like you can't shake the enemy. You gotta learn to move differently. If you are notorious for doing the same thing on certain days, you gotta move differently. If you are, let's say, the Bible says pray without ceasing, and you are notorious for praying, let's say, at, because the prayer time is between, let's say, 6 to 9, and you notorious for praying at 6 o'clock, the devil is going to try to interrupt and disrupt you around 6 o'clock. And it could be with anything, like an emergency happening in the family. You have to push past that and pray, get your prayer in, and then set another time to pray again. Because that's what the enemy wants. Whatever you have in position, he's trying to kill, steal, and destroy. One of the things I always tell my clients is that when you change position, change will come. And the enemy will look at you like, how did you do it? Those same people will be stuck in the barrel. Because you see, they studied you and they tried to pull you down. They studied you And when you was clutched on the sides trying to climb up, they was right there watching you, your every move. You will be elevated when you change position because God will see you pushing past and pushing forward, and the enemy will lose. The enemy in the spiritual realm, the enemy in the natural, and the enemy within you. And when I say enemy within you, because some of you all are your worst enemy, you got to learn to move differently. So if, for example, you have something internal that you battling with, you have to deal with it. Whether it be healing, whether it be uh, laziness, you got to deal with it. You got to learn to move differently. Moving differently could be stop complaining or stop telling people your situation, like those that are haters. It could be doing the same thing and not getting different results. Moving differently for some people could be, you know, you might always go and tell someone what they did to you to try to resolve the situation and they're not getting it. So moving differently could be stop talking. Put your words to action. Since you say that you're going to walk away, that is what you're going to have to do. You got to put your words to action. Because you see, those stalkers, those monitoring spirits, those Satan's watchmen will be hit with the reality. They are going down a dark path they thought you were on. And they will be met with Satan and them demons that say, payday. Because they was doing so much to you. You got to learn to move differently. Stop being predictable. When you walking down the street and you know that person is tormenting you and that person is coming towards you, they know the route you walk every day. When that person on the job, you know you have in mind to do some things, and for some reason you feel like that person knows your every move. hmm They tormenting you. They tormenting you. You got to learn to move differently. And another reason is because Satan and them demons never want to see change. So they will always torment you to bring you back to the same position. Because if you in the same position, they happy. And it could be maybe you being angry. When you get angry, they happy. When you in that same messed up situation, they happy. When you in that same dead end relationship, they happy. When those same family members talk about you like a dog and you get upset and you always want to argue with them to resolve the situation every time and they don't get it, them demons, Satan is happy. Learn to move differently. Learn to choose your battle. Learn to work on yourself more. And working on yourself more is moving differently. Here's some tips in moving differently. Change your route. Change your thought pattern. Meaning that if you're notorious to start arguing with a person as soon as they come up to you and argue, just be silent. And what's the other one? The other one is do things at random, but just make sure it get done. That's it. Because just like in sports, if you don't learn to move differently, the opposing team, that enemy, is going to know your every move and they know how to stop you and block you every time. And they will win. The enemies win against you is going for the jugular. So don't ever think that they going to fight fair. Don't say I didn't tell you. Have a blessed day, y'all. For more, sign up for a session. Go to my website, seriouslyfocusedjohnny.com. And when you go to my website to sign up for a session, just email me and check me out on YouTube, like, subscribe, click the notification, check out my store. Downloadable document is still up. All the links is underneath. And that's it, y'all. Later.